Thank you. Oh, all right. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to go ahead and kick SCIP off for this week. We do understand that it is a holiday week, so there may be some people who aren't able to attend. So what we're going to do is we're going to record this for those that couldn't participate. And if you want to go back and listen, there's going to be some good content that's going to be shared today. We have a treat. Jake Mickelsen's here with us from our improvement team, and he is going to be sharing some improvement training opportunities offered through Stanford Healthcare. Some of you are involved in them. So some of you have firsthand knowledge of the work that we're going to be talking about or have in the past. So it's pretty interesting. That's going to then dovetail into our actual SCIP conversation this week. That's going to be, you know, in the past, what we've done is we have topics that we'll discuss in terms of difficult concepts within improvement. Today's actually is going to be really focused on helping us to see opportunities or what different types of trainings or certifications or additional continuing education that you've taken that has contributed to your current role or improvement role or improvement role, and then whether or not you would recommend it, tips, tricks about it. So we're going to actually dig into that to be able to help each other learn about what you've learned. So that should be a lot of fun. Following that, we're going to go through a little bit of a debrief like we always do. So in your groups, take notes on what you learned so that you can share out to the rest of us, because we want to be able to have a meta learning as well. So the individual learning within our groups, but then learn from the learning of others. Following that, Jakari is going to give us a little overview about the pillars we're trying to set up for SCIP so that we can share some of the ownership of this group across the group. So we'll be pitching a little bit in terms of what that looks like and then how you can get more involved if you'd like. So with that said, one other thing. We're going to try to have one of our breakout groups stay in the lobby while we do the actual breakout conversation. If you are willing to, let's say if you're not willing to be recorded, how's this? Send a chat to Selena so that when she sets up the groups, she puts you in one outside of the lobby. Because what we're going to do is we're going to record it so that other people can see the conversation and understand how it works. So if you aren't interested in being recorded, let her know so that she can put you in the different group. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to introduce our tool time presenter, Jake. Jake's going to be talking to us about improving training opportunities offered by Stanford Healthcare. Most of you know Jake. You know his style. He's an outstanding speaker, presenter, amazing person to work with. I've had just the privilege of being able to work with him over the last year plus and just continue to be impressed, as I think probably all of you have been. He's the Director of Improvement Capability, and he does oversee the portfolio of learning programs offered in SHC. We've chosen to include the session today to ensure all of you are aware of the training opportunities available and some of the helpful resources you can use to complete projects at Stanford and grow in your own personal development. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Jake and take it away.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Good to see you all. I'm briefly just going to go over specifically some institutional resources and programs offered by SHC. I know there are programs offered by SCH, possibly SHC Valley Care, even UHA, and other areas represented on this call, but I'm specifically talking about SHC here. Not that they're only offered to SHC. The programs that we offer can help. They're for anyone, but those are the ones I'm going to focus on here. And I just want to say that because I know there's other ones out there than the ones I'm just going to talk about. Really neat article published back in 2002 talking about building improvement capability. This group of researchers from University of Southern California they looked at a few children's hospitals, a group of children's hospitals, and found out, okay, really what makes a hospital accelerate their ability to improve things? And they found that, so organizations differ considerably in their rate of performance improvement. And since any improvement trajectory is the fruit of a series of projects, the proximate cause of this variation between organizations lies in how these projects are managed. So what they're getting is, you don't accelerate your ability to improve just by doing more projects. Although sometimes that's how it feels. It's what they found, it's actually more about the way these projects are managed. And they found that the success of projects depends not only on the goals and efforts of the project team, but more specifically on the competencies that these teams can draw from. And in the end, their conclusion was that it's the variation of these competencies, the organization's underlying performance improvement capability, that explain the substantial and sustained differences in rates of improvement. And so that's why we have training programs. That's why we have resources to help us build our competencies to better solve the complex problems we have. So what do we offer? Well, it comes down to first understanding, what do our people need? I think it's very easy to state something like, tell you what, we're going to offer a white belt, a yellow belt, a green belt, and a black belt class. We're good. But we've actually, over the years, have found that it's more complex than that. You can't just offer trainings. You need different forms for different types of demands. And we've been able to categorize these demands into 5 key personas. So I'm going to explain those personas to you now. So the type of people that need training, or that want it, that are demanding it. First, the self-learner. Someone that wants to learn improvement methods on their own terms when they need it to apply for themselves and share with their colleagues. We see a lot of those. Number 2 is the frontline manager. This is a new one we've observed more and more. People that want to support their frontline team in doing work that is important to them, local to their area. Second, the project team. A team of people that want to learn improvement science and complete a complex project with a multidisciplinary team. Oh, look at my numbers. They're way off. Sorry, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, Jake can't count. Wow, really good here. Good thing I'm among friends here. So the 4th one is the influencer. I want to learn advanced improvement concepts in preparation of leading change for my organization. These are leaders, people that they're in roles that they want to lead change, and they need some improvement concepts to help them do that. And the last one is the practitioner, someone who wants to be certified in improvement science in the healthcare setting, someone who wants to be able to lead, coach, mentor, do the work it takes to get improvement projects done. So how are we meeting these needs at Stanford Healthcare? Well, we've created some videos. These are hosted and have been sponsored by our Center for Improvement under the direction of Lisa Freeman. And these are quick 10-minute videos on YouTube. Check them out. Go pop some popcorn, watch them at night with your special someone. Those of you that really love this stuff. They feature people from Stanford, from Valley Care, from Children's Hospital, UHA, SHC, with different examples. For the frontline manager, we have, there's a few programs out there. One is called 52 and 52. It's this idea that you can do 52 projects in 52 weeks. Sounds overwhelming, doesn't it? But it's happening. There's teams that are using this structure to do that, and it's quite incredible. Primary care uses something called PEP. Very similar structure, just different names. For the project team, we've got Write. Many of you are familiar with Write. It's a program. It's a project machine. It's built to help projects complete, to start and to end with meaningful results. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. For those of you that want to be influencers, we've got Celt and Write. These are both leadership training programs, kind of a lecture style format where you're going to get lots of instruction, book reports, case studies, and lots of great speakers from all over the world. And then for the practitioner, we have our professional certification, commonly known as a black belt because that's the industry standard, but the one that we offer here gives you a black belt and much more, and it's all healthcare focused. So those are the 5 personas we see at Stanford that are demanding improvement resources. They want to learn. They want to increase their competencies in improvement. I'm just going to show this on the screen. And here's a breakdown of the type of curriculum you can get in each one. So Ryan, team, that's what I had. It's my quick 10-minute tool time, letting you know about some of the resources here.
Thanks a lot, Jake. Any questions from the group? What was covered?
I don't have a question, but Jake, I put in the chat just to you, but I'd love to post this on the SMCI website and identify it as Stanford Healthcare Resources. That would be awesome.
Why not? Absolutely, Lisa. Yeah, thank you. That'd be great. Noelle, yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious, I'm not sure if you know, the 52 projects and 52 days or whatever it was, how did they define a project? Did it involve a certain number of hours or effort?
So for that type of, so that's the frontline leader we're talking about, the frontline manager. Structures like 52 and 52 are built to support frontline improvement projects that are local to that area, Noelle. So if it's going to involve a cross-disciplinary team, like we're doing a project that's going to involve emergency department and pathology or an internal medicine, they wouldn't go through that structure because those projects for the frontline manager, they're 2 to 8 weeks long. They're pretty quick, but they're the things the frontline employees really care about. It's the rocks in their shoes that they deal with every single day. And so Wright doesn't solve that. CELT doesn't solve that. Our certification course doesn't solve that. There's these frontline structures that do. And we see them in a few of our areas and they work really well.
I understand. So it's like the A3 experiments where they're, putting wait times on a whiteboard in front of the door or something like that. Smaller sort of improvement efforts, and they're testing to see if they work.
Yeah, 2 to 8 weeks. Yulia, so in the certification course, there is a day spent on project management because we do believe that a certified improvement professional has got to have some skill set there. Also in the influencer level, so there's the advanced course for improvement science, they touch on project management as well. So there is some project management essentials that are included just because we need that to be good improvement professionals. But those pursuing a career in project management should go to the Project Management Institute because that's where you get really the bread and butter.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good. All right. So we have Dot going to come and introduce our next section. So Dot, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Share my screen here. So as we go into our breakout sessions for discussion, these are a few kind of prompting questions that we'd like the group to discuss. Kind of what courses and certifications have you completed? Oh, before that, introduction. So name, where you're from, kind of what you're doing within the department, particularly as it relates to improvement. And then again, just going through what courses or certifications have you completed, and what did you find most useful? So probably speaking to predominantly the things that maybe Jake covered, but if there are other things that you're doing outside, that might also be helpful. Okay, so I think now, correct me if I'm wrong, Selena, I think we're gonna have people break out into groups for a few minutes, and then we're gonna come back and discuss this.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
also
right.
sent the mural link in the
Okay.
chat too. If you know, feel free to use mural if that's more helpful for you, or discussion.
Well, I'd even go a little stronger than that, Selena. I think there should be at least one person in mural making notes for the group, so that when you come back, you can report out with that, and that way we have that content where we can share it with others. So please, one person from each group, at least jump on the mural and add to it.
Okay,
Okay, great.
great. So I'm going to stop sharing then so we can do that.
Okay, this looks like the group. It gets to be recorded.
We're
Awesome.
staying in the living room.
Yeah, that's right. In the lobby. Or
Lobby,
no,
lobby.
yeah.
Sorry. You
yeah,
said
if we're
lobby.
in Natalie, if we're in your spot, we are in the living room or somewhere. I don't know. It looks pretty
I
awesome.
wish this was my living room.
That
I
looks
don't
really
have a
nice.
green thumb, so this would probably all be like dark brown.
No, that's okay.
Sure.
That's
Hi guys,
okay.
this is Mary Kay. I obviously was a bad time and very late. So if you don't mind, I'll just stay, pause, and wait till everyone comes back from the chat rooms. Is that okay? But I didn't even hear what they went out to chat about.
Sure.
Yeah, so we can either put you in one of the rooms, or you could just hang out here. This
Yeah.
You're in the lucky room though. This one is actually being recorded for for those who couldn't make the meeting. So yeah, we could do one or the other. So
Okay.
with that, let's go ahead and just jump in. So Mary Kay, if you want to jump to another room, just let Selena know and she'll put you somewhere. If not, just hang tight and we'll enjoy having you here. So let's see.
I
Dot,
think I'll hang tight. So.
okay, great. Dot, could you, I think, oh no, never mind. That was me. Okay, great. So Dot's got the screen up. So let's go ahead and jump in.
Okay. Do we want to
so
do
the first-
introductions? Has everybody met each other? I was going to say.
Are we
haven't met Mary
introducing
Kay,
the
so
first
I-
round, or are we introducing
Yes.
as we report out?
No, let's introduce. That sounds good. So Natalie, since you've got the cool background, why don't you introduce yourself, your role, etc.
So sure. Natalie Chang. I'm a senior quality consultant with the Quality Analytics and Reporting team and part of Stanford Healthcare.
And who's next?
We're doing introductions first, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go next. Dot Cordova. I am at Stanford Healthcare, and I'm actually a point of care ultrasound program manager right now, but formerly a radiology quality manager. That's how I met this group. Let's see.
I can
Brian
go next.
or Selena? Okay.
I'm Selena Meza. I work for the Stanford Medicine Center for Improvement and also the improvement team at SHC. And it is a little nerve-wracking being recorded in the session. So, but welcome everyone.
You're great. Awesome. I'll go next and then we'll go to Yulia and Mary Kay. Okay, so my name is Ryan Dark. I'm one of the principal consultants at Stanford Healthcare, and have somewhat of the pleasure to help create this group with some amazing people, and we've just had a lot of fun. So I get to do this plus a lot of other things. So really excited to hear from everyone and learn from each of you.
Hey everyone, my name is Julia Behe. I'm with the nursing quality team, and I have to say that probably 6 months ago I didn't know about process improvement much, and I have been learning about it. I have been part of it in a lot of different ways as a bedside nurse here at Stanford in oncology, but I'm very excited to be part of this group because I think this is exciting to have such wonderful experts to learn from and see how I can apply it in my current role. So, everyone.
Hi, I'm Mary Kay Dunn, and I'm sorry to crash your party. I'm the Director of Education and Practice at Stanford Healthcare Valley Care. I do a lot of performance improvement quality work along with my day job. So it's just kind of part of what we do because we're small. And so we have to all have a little hand in everything. So thank you, and learning tons from you all.
Awesome. So who would like to start? So what are some courses, certifications you've completed to help your improvement career?
I can start.
Yeah.
This is Julia again, and I currently in the last stages of my CELP program, which I have been enjoying a lot. Can you guys hear? Oh, you can hear me. It's great to be part of a collaborative environment, and even though there are moments where you're like, oh, group work, it does not have, it has its challenges, but being a part of collaboration and really making a positive impact on patients and nurses felt amazing. I also started Lean Sigma Black Belt certification last Friday. So when I saw Jake today, I was like, oh, I'm going to do my homework. So I'm excited about that. And I, again, very grateful for welcoming me to this community.
All of my previous.
I'm just typing for us here, but I think I want to make that font a little bit bigger. So we said
We can always zoom in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
We
Who
also
else?
said salt.
I guess I can go next. So before I transitioned into my current role, I had heard about this certified quality auditor role, which I had heard before was similar to CBHQ, and at that time I was like, oh, I don't want to just limit to just healthcare. I figured I'd just get something across different industries, and then it was very helpful to obviously learn. It's a certification you have to pay for and take an actual test that is, they take your fingerprint and everything. And so I have that certification, but I now look back and I think I probably should have done the CPHQ instead. But that was kind of my first, not really improvement related, but it kind of introduced me to a lot of the concepts that I had touched on. And then, of course, going through CELT, right? I've been coaching right recently in this cohort, went through CELT myself as a coach, but also sort of as a participant, and then also coached CELT again, and then also went through the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt course, which was the very first one that Stanford provided. So that was a great experience. Interesting.
I'm really actually interested in the understanding more about CPHQ. I've heard that one thrown around a lot. I know it's specific to quality. Can you maybe, or someone who knows about it, explain it and why me or anyone might be interested or want to do it? I'm really curious about it.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
There you go. No, I don't have it. I should have probably gone that way, but go ahead.
No, I was going to say I took the CPHQ certification last year. So I do have that. And it gave a general understanding. What I realized actually was what I didn't know. So there's, right, like I might know a fair amount about improvement to some degree and data analytics, but there was a lot of other things. The application of it was actually nice. The exam itself, I had to apply what I knew. So I think that was actually good practice. And then there was all the other stuff about CMS and different regs that I knew to some degree, but it was helpful, again, to have a very large, broad understanding. And I felt like it wasn't, it was attainable was the other thing. I mean, I don't know how useful necessarily, because I haven't gone to trainings yet. Like I'm still relatively new. So I'm kind of learning how it can be helpful kind of moving forward, because you do have continuing education and so forth that you have to maintain to keep your certification.
Yeah, my guess is it's probably not just, like you said, improvement is also like a regulatory component.
Correct.
Auditing, inspection, which is similar to CQA. The continuing education that I have to do for that one is, yeah, it's just very different. A lot of it's different industry. So sometimes when I attend it, I'm like, you know, it's not as applicable yet, you know, to me.
So you would want it if you're specific for a specific role within quality, right? Or something like that. Is that right?
Well, I think so. There's 4 pillars, right? So there's that. I think it's there's like kind of joint commission, regulatory, then there's performance improvement, data analytics, and safety. I think are the 4 pillars, if I remember correctly. And so as a quality manager, those are big things, right? Those are a lot of the things that you're going to want to look at. So they do touch on things like, you know, just even around policy and so forth. So for me, it actually, as somebody who either really wants to continue to someday be a quality manager again or support that role, it was a good fit. And it wasn't specific to radiology, for example, right? To like the area that I was in. And that to me was helpful because you do get sort of this general. And so, yeah, I found, but there's a lot of memorization of different acronyms and things like that, where it's like, okay, I'm never going to remember this. I'm going to need the book to go back to, or I'm going to look this up online, kind of thing.
That's interesting. Yeah, it does parallel somewhat to, you know, improvement work. That's why I was curious about it, because I've seen that out there, and I've seen people post that they got it, and I'm just curious about whether or not it would be a valuable thing to get. Okay, good.
I think
interesting.
It definitely gives you, as Dot was saying, a bigger picture of the organization, because as she mentioned, like patient safety and regulatory, we get pieces of it. But it also does cover improvement science related to. So if you want, I think for a quality manager position or quality director, you know, as Dot was saying, because you have to touch on all those different areas, not just the improvement piece, then that would be very helpful. I think my prior role, I did a lot of different types of quality, a lot of regulation, a lot of safety related items, not enough time for improvement. So that probably would have been helpful.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see, I think we've got, I got the right cell, Lean Six Sigma, quality auditor. I think CPHQ was here somewhere. There it is. Anything else that we didn't touch on that we want to add here? It's hard to PMP.
I haven't had any official certifications. I would say I'm kind of branch from y'all to the bedside, I think. So I would say the most impactful, because you also asked about courses, for me was I was at UCSF in a change agent program they had, which they don't have anymore. That was excellent. Had a lot of the same concepts. It was a 3-year program. And then I participated in Wright, which kind of brought it home. And also Ryan, I don't know if you know this, but Stanford, when they came into Valley Care, there was a very intensive improvement sessions they had that they did for over like a 3-month period, which was very helpful to that team. And I wish we still had it. We also don't have it anymore. I kind of died with a change in leadership, but it was nice.
Yeah, Stanford, we used to have Stanford operating system, leaders as teachers. Yeah, a couple different programs. Some of them may or may not be coming back in different versions. Yeah, right. Yeah. Good. So for me, one of the areas that I've done, it's not specific to improvement, but it has helped my bigger picture view of healthcare in general. Is I got my I'm involved in the American College of Healthcare Executives and got the fellow. I'm a fellow in that program, so you have to have ongoing. You have to take a test and ongoing certification. It's valuable in the sense of really giving a bird's eye view of healthcare, and specifically the leadership aspect of healthcare. I found it interesting from that perspective. In terms of how much day-to-day it actually makes a difference in my work of improvement, probably not a lot, but it does have a lot of connections and a great conference every year. So those are, I mean, I've only been in person one time, but it is outstanding. I went virtually last year and it was really, really good. So they're one of the best in terms of that. That and IHI, I would say, are two of the tops that I've been to.
What's it called
maybe
again,
ASQ
Ryan?
too. American College of Healthcare Executives, ACHE.
Okay.
Yeah, but the credential is the FACHE, or Fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives. Yeah. So it's not necessarily a course, but it's certification. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about, has anyone explored any of the, I know that there's courses having to do, I'm particularly interested in data visualization, analytics, things like that. Any of you looked into any of those programs?
It's a Tableau course that was offered through Stanford, and I thought that was excellent.
Okay. I know that Stephanie Evergreen does a course that's quite good from what I can tell. I've heard her teach before, and she's awesome, very engaging. I've read some of her books. So that's one. I know that there's other programs out there that do similar things. And I don't know, just very curious about those. Okay. Any
I think
others?
the difficulty with analytics courses is that once you take them, I think, because they go through a lot of examples and practices and they're great. Unless you continuously have data sets to use them and practice on, it's harder to develop the skills continuously. So. Yeah.
I think a lot of those, there's different types. There's the ones that are specific to particular programs. And then there's like Tableau, for example, or Power BI. There's those. And then there's others that might be more generic in terms of the concepts that you could maybe apply to anything. But I think you're right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. What about things that we've found most helpful in the courses or the certifications that you've done? We haven't talked about that side of things.
I think the connections. So to just the networking that you're able to do, even with connections, if there's sort of a listserv or anything like that you can be able to bounce ideas off of, I found that that's helpful.
I think that's great, specifically for this certification, right? And even some of the courses as you take them. I know that through CELT, right, ACES, the Black Belt or Certified Improvement Professional program that we have, all of those, the networking is pretty awesome. What else? I know some of you are involved in programs currently. So what are some of the things that are most helpful?
Something that comes to my mind is from the courses, that it always is an impact on me how important the connections and not as much networking, but actually connecting to the people doing the work. And that's why I felt I'm in this for the translation piece. Taking all this great information from you guys and how do you translate it and make it work in every day in a hospital? Because in its own right, it's awesome, but unless we can use it to really help improve what's going on in every med-surg unit, all right, hospitals, and for me, it's not as valuable. So that actually is the piece I keep taking over and over again, is how important that communication with the people doing the work is, no matter what kind of work it is, actually.
That's good. And that's partly why we have this group, actually, so that we can connect people with all the other work going on in the organization specific to Stanford. But we do know that there's other entities, and there's world outside of Stanford too that we're trying to connect with, which is, we'll hear more about that in the pillar work that Jakari is going to talk about in a minute. So Yulia, you stated, I think this was, hopefully it was with this question, understanding the roles within different departments. Can you explain a little more about what you're talking about?
Yeah, you know, I had an opportunity to be in multiple roles from a nursing perspective in my over 8 years here at Stanford. And sometimes role clarity is not the best when it comes to even your clinical nurse specialist, your unit educator, you know, what does the leadership do? So kind of getting to know each department have been very helpful. So for example, my project, I know, isn't it funny? Eric and I decided to be in the same room, and I know it's challenging for you guys to hear me. It's fine, it's not bothering you. So for example, my project is focusing on ICU region. So the way things are done in ICU region are a little bit different from how they were done in oncology, even though we are all part of the same organization. So I think it's important to acknowledge that. And while there is this big push for standardization in everything, I think we should, you know, people have different strengths. And I think that's what CELT and just other projects I've been involved in. I actually did as a part of Center of Education and Professional Development. I have been leading the oncology training program. So I apologize. I think it's hard for me.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we can have someone else answer. Yeah, I know it can be distracting, but we heard you. You were great. Thank you. So who else would like to add something to the what was most helpful in the courses, certifications?
I think if like some of your team members, if they take the same courses like Write and CELT, then you have the same terminology that you can use, which makes it easier to do projects and understanding, you know, when we need a SMART goal or A3 and you know, even for people that haven't gone through it, it does take a while to explain what those mean. But when you have people who have gone through these courses and provide like a framework for them to follow, then I think it makes it easier to progress through projects.
Yeah, that's good. I think language helps to develop culture, right? And, you know, shared language does help with that, and especially around improvement, using things like an A3, the concepts of understanding what the tools we're using, having a shared experience through Write or CELT can also be beneficial because we can speak the same language and we can accelerate change much faster than if we're all coming at it from a different perspective. So that's the good side of it. Sometimes we lean too far on the other side of it, and you know, everything has to be in this particular box because that's how we were trained. Partly why we have this group is because we all come from different perspectives, and we can talk about the same concepts, understanding that there might be subtle nuances to them, but they all come from the same root, and be able to understand that and share that and learn from one another is also very valuable. I think sometimes we get so wrapped up into our how we name things that it becomes almost a dogmatic, where it must be this way or else it doesn't count somehow. And we forget the whole point of improvement is to get the results and really the end result or the outcome, not necessarily the specific getting all the process steps exactly right or the word usage perfect. So that's not really why we're doing it. So that gets lost sometimes. So good points. Great. Some of the things I have learned, you know, in these courses is, you know, even when I'm teaching some of these things, I find I'm learning almost as much, if not more, than some of the people in the courses. So it's extremely valuable for me to hear different people's backgrounds and different perspectives and how they're applying things. I know when I first started getting involved in this and also working with other improvement professionals at Stanford, I learned all sorts of things, like specific, like this mural that we're using even right now, that we could do things virtually seamlessly, almost more efficient and effective than if you were in person, which I was very skeptical. But then seeing other people do it and then being able to just jump in and try it without the fear of failure became an environment where, you can learn so much faster than if you're trying to do it on your own. So I think that's also very important, is the learning journey, that we're learning from each other as well as learning from whatever the content is important.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan, because I know I was really intimidated with using Zoom and I was kind of skeptical about it, but I'm taking a course in just doing Zoom and Mural and even Smart Sheets just helped me see that we can work in a virtual environment efficiently too, even though we're not together in the same room.
Yeah, in some ways almost too efficient, so efficient that you have no downtime, which is not necessarily the best for us personally, but very good in terms of getting things done. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You can be at 2 meetings at a time.
Yes.
2 or
also-
3, or yeah.
I
It was
just
wild.
think about, I have a hearing impairment, and so it's much better for me to be on these calls actually than a room where I might not hear everything someone says. I'm not deaf and I'm close, so it really is. It's benefits me in some ways, I bet.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is interesting. I was in a meeting actually with Selena almost all of last week in person, and for 3 of the days. The 4th day I actually came and worked back from home because I was more efficient. I could be more efficient at home. I couldn't do the same things I could do in person that I could do at home, so I actually had to do that. But so that's been an interesting journey too, is trying to walk that line and that hybrid.
I'm bringing people back.
People starting to come back. Okay, all right, great.
And again, I apologize for earlier. We have
It
7
was
people
great.
in the office, so we're trying to figure out the best way where we can have a little bit quiet space.
It wasn't that bad.
Well, that's an example of some of the complications between the in-person, virtual, hybrid. There's some challenges. We're all going to have to work through them, but you were fine. It was great. Wonderful. So let's see, maybe Dot, when we come back, if you would
We're all
start
back
the debrief,
now.
maybe even
Share
starting
the
ourselves.
mural?
Okay, great.
Yep. I
Yep.
will share our mural here. And I'm speaking of tools and learning, I am learning mural too. So if there are tips that I should be kind of learning here, I didn't have too much time to play with it, but I did add some things based on the discussion. So I think, do we have everybody back, Selena? Is it good to start up?
Everyone's back.
Okay,
Everyone's back.
cool. Okay, great.
And Dot, do you know how to scroll in or zoom in on the screen?
I don't.
Okay, so if you have a mouse with a roller ball, do you have one of those with the roller ball thing?
I do.
Then use the roller ball and move it forward, and it'll zoom in it'll zoom completely in, and then you can click and drag not on one of those post-its, but somewhere else. If you click and drag, you can pull the screen different places. You can also use in the bottom right, your navigation pane. You can just click it and like the upper left if you wanted. The actual see where it shows an image of the actual screen you're looking at to the right of that. Down.
Kind of here. Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. If you click just up a little and to the left, slightly up and to the left. See the light blue that you're seeing? That's what your screen's showing now. If you go to the left and click on it, it'll go to that side. So it'll click to that.
I was
Yeah,
wondering,
so-
I was
and
like,
then
there's
you-
got to be a better way here. Thank you.
Yep, and then you can zoom in by doing the rollerball. There's other ways to zoom in as well, but that's probably the most efficient way to zoom in.
Okay.
If you've got your hand on the mouse. So anyway,
Perfect.
safe space to learn. We're all learning in this process. So this is an example of learning by doing and just jumping in and doing it. So thanks, Dot. Great.
Well, thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. Yeah, I am kind of going here. Let's see here. I'm playing here as we go, but so bear with me. I think I'm gonna scroll over here. So I think, first question was just what courses or certifications have you completed? Is it big enough though for everybody, or do I need to kind of go out more?
Maybe a little closer.
Okay. Oop, a little too
That's
much.
good. That's
There
good.
we go. Okay. All right. So for courses that have supported your improvement career, we touched on, we've got Write here and CELT, a lot of the programs that Jake spoke about, the Six Sigma. We also talked about a few things that I think could potentially be within or without Stanford. So the Excel courses could be either something done inside or outside of Stanford. Smartsheet, PMP, so project management certification. We talked through some of that here. It looks like folks added that here. Certified quality auditor, Tableau. So lots of great things here. I think both available right from Stanford as well as externally. Is there kind of any thoughts here? Again, I'm not quite sure how we want to kind of open up the conversation for this.
Hey, Don, I'm curious who wrote Mark Graven's Measures of Success workshop. I'm really curious about that.
Oh, that was me, Ryan.
Oh, nice. Can you tell me about it? I'm curious.
Yeah, I went to a catalysis conference a few years ago, and he happened to be teaching a course. It was a paid course, and yeah, I thought it was really well done. And if you've read his book, he has this example of using like red balls and white balls or something. And so he did like a live demo, and I found it really helpful. But if you don't go to the workshop, he has a book that's called Measures of Success. And
Right.
I find it really helpful for statistical concepts.
Good. The red bead experiment is probably what you're referring to. And that's actually a Deming. That's from Edward Deming, actually. He probably recreated
That's right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. It's funny. Okay, well, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, the Catalysis conference. It was the Healthcare Lean Transformation Conference. Is that the one? Something like that? Is that what it was called?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was really well done. It was a live demo too. So it was nice and you had different groups that were doing it. So it was good.
Interesting. Okay. Great. Any other groups want to share things that particular ones that stood out or ones that surprised you or things that you really think the rest of us would want to learn from that we could benefit from?
I'm not sure I see it on the blue side, Ryan, but our group talked about having patient and family perspectives in improvement work. And just another, we had the benefit of having Noelle in our group, and she's just a wonderful resource because she understands project management from both a product, I think, and a operations and improvement perspective. So I know I'm definitely going to be calling on Noelle for more insights.
Yeah, that's good. We didn't get into that, and I didn't see it there in the courses, but the concept of human-centered design or design thinking is also one that I think could probably be added to there in terms of the courses, because those are excellent and very applicable to improvement work, especially in healthcare. That's good. Okay, so those were the classes themselves. Now what do we find most helpful in the courses? So for those who wrote some of these or spoke on some of these, I'd be curious if people could call out some of the ahas or big things that we can learn, because really this is all about learning and hearing from each of you on how we can help each other. So did a few people call them out?
In our group, we talked about the difficulty, especially when we're working on improvement projects, and being able to access the data that we need to make sure that our testing is set up correctly. So I think that's something that maybe in the future we might talk about, because it takes so much time, right, to put in a request to have data pulled. You have to, depending on the type of data you're asking for, if you go through the typical IT avenue, it has to be prioritized, and there's a governance team that meets, and or maybe in the other order, but it is a time-intensive process. And when we're talking about these improvement efforts, like you said, we're looking at like 2 to 8 weeks sometimes, where we want to get something in, quickly test it, and then have some data. And so then you get into the balance of, is it worth it to manually calculate and track the data, or do we try to push towards getting the data automated? So talking about those kind of things, if we're all improvement practitioners, I think would be helpful.
And I think there's a lot here just on the connections, kind of that same kind of theme, sharing of of information, using the same lingo, maybe to be able to help move those things along, I suppose.
Yeah, if I were to summarize from what I'm seeing here, it looks like it's not so important the what in terms of the course or the certification, but the details, the connections, the learnings, the sharing of information, the language, the terms, being able to create a shared culture are all seemingly the more important things within each of these. So at least that's my assessment. And with that, because we're out of time, I guess that's where it stops, because no one else said anything. So Jakaria, you're up. You can take the last piece.
Yeah, so I don't know that we took time for I like, I wish, I wonder. Maybe if we can just drop the link in the chat to everybody one more time, if you could give some feedback on today's session. Again, we really appreciate everybody coming, and we appreciate Jake sharing that overview of the programs that we offer, because there's always some opportunity to demystify or clarify, is this program for me? Should we take this project here? So really appreciate that. What I want to do, while Selena shared that, thank you so much, is I wanted to just pull up really quickly, and I'm pulling up the chat instead of the document, because that's what Jakaria does. Pull up really quickly a visual, which, hold on just a second. I'm gonna have to do it by sharing it on my screen, you guys. For some reason, Zoom is not allowing me to identify it as a document. Hold on just a second. Okay, here we go. Just sharing a visual really quickly. I was sharing my calendar with you, wasn't I? Okay. This is the wrong screen, isn't it?
The second,
are you guys,
second slide.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're seeing the slides?
Yeah.
Perfect. I thought you were seeing my calendar, because that's what it's doing. All right, awesome. So what we wanted to do was just to share with everyone our intention for moving this group forward. We know, again, it's a holiday week and attendance is light, but we know that we have a huge desire to grow this community. And so the coordinating group came together, and we identified a way to actually structure ourselves into 4 pillars or committees. One committee will be focusing on the internal events, like what we're having today for our internal Stanford Medicine family. Another group will actually plan either quarterly or semi-annually external events, where we actually partner with PAMP or Sutter or other organizations. Maybe it's other industries. We know that there's a lot of manufacturing companies, just different groups of folks we can learn with and from. We also have communicated a strong desire to have a community impact somehow or another. So we need a group of folks that are passionate about that to drive that vision and initiative. And then finally, we won't grow if no one knows who we are, how to find us, and what we're doing. So we need a group to talk about branding, marketing, promotion. And that includes websites. We have a blog, we have podcast capability through the center. So we want to make sure that we are utilizing that we're partnering to grow that, and leveraging the resources that we have here So I just wanted to share this with you all and ask that if you are on the call and you have interest in any 4 of these pillars, to please just pop it in the chat. If you don't want to send it to the group, you can send it to Selena or myself or Ryan. But we would love to hear about that as we strategize how to grow our SCIP community. Any questions? Okay, awesome.
So not that it's a question, but some of the things we're talking about. So we like to have fun. So we've got the idea of the internal, the external, that's looking outside of Stanford, but then there's the whole marketing thing. So some of the reason I put the background I have on is because this was a silly thing I did a while back. Those of you know me, I know I like the statistics, the run charts, control charts, and I started writing out these things I thought would be little funny sayings about that, and this is one of them. And so we were talking about T-shirts, mugs, other things that people would actually think were kind of fun as a way to both market what we're doing, but also possibly bring in some fundraising for the center and maybe SCIP. So anyway, those are some things just to plant the seed that we can start thinking about to get creative and have a lot of fun together. So that is it. Really enjoy having each of you. Yeah, go ahead and continue to put in the chat if there's any other things that you want to be involved in, and also send us emails or text us. Thank you for your feedback. Go ahead and we'll leave the mural up. So if you want to do it after this call, go ahead and put in some notes of I like, I wish, I wonder, and because every single time we use it to get better and try to improve this session. So we tweak it a little bit here and there based on the feedback. Sometimes we go too far this way, and so we need your input to be able to make sure to center it and get it all evened out. So thank you for your time. And with that, I think we'll leave you with 1 minute to go back and go into the mural and type in some comments. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.